Ladies and gentlemen, holy Toledo, we are still seeing a decent amount of what some would cause chaos in the market due to the volatility. We're seeing uncertainty, of course, with the geopolitical tensions that we have between Iran and Israel. And one of the big questions that's starting to increase the volatility, uncertainty in the market is, what's the involvement from the U.S.? And what we originally had heard from the Trump team was that, hey, the U.S. was staying out of the request from Israel to help back them in terms of attacking Iran. And now some of the questions are, we see posts from the administration, especially from Truth Social, from Trump, these posts that are saying, hey, this is looking a little more involved than I think what we were once led on to think and what we were kind of once led on to believe. So the big question is, where do we go from here? And that's where uncertainty is continuing to rise. Unfortunately, on X, we're seeing these big accounts that are kind of picking up these small pieces of information that turn out to be speculative and actually not true. I'm seeing that that's actually increasing in frequency. So it's hard to believe, and especially with a lot of these people getting a decent amount of information and exposure to millions of people, some of these things actually aren't true. So it's hard to, see what's fact, what's fiction. We're going to be trying to giving you guys a deep dive analysis, talk about Palantir. We'll talk about some of the other stocks. What are we seeing in terms of the reactions? Hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos. If you pop it up on the screen here, Palantir trading at 138.20. We see a little bit of a pullback here, down about 2.2%. Remember, Palantir had this nice shoot up here to about the 140s, hitting this all-time high. With the volatility that we've seen, Palantir pulling back here is completely normal. And you can see this kind of consolidation phase that Palantir has built a little bit of a foundation in at about the 136, finding some support there. And you can see a reversal right here at that 136. A few touch points here, just on the 5-minute chart, just on zooming very far in. Palantir doing fairly well, and what we specifically see in the overnight hours, Palantir is currently trading up about 18 cents. In terms of the broader market, a lot of the stocks are kind of slightly in the red today. We also have the Fed decision on interest rates that's going to be occurring tomorrow. We'll be giving you guys details of that in just a few moments, but the market comes down about 0.8%. We'll be talking about that more here in just a second. One of the big things, we have Morningstar that puts out a report about Palantir. Stock has surged, but some see growing reputational risk, and we're starting to see this. This is really kind of being blown up. Basically, because of the whole political environment and what are Palantir's surveillance capabilities. And this really got blown up, and I think out of proportion, in my own opinion. Of course, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, due to the spotlight that Palantir intensified from the New York Times article. A lot of you guys know what that was. Basically, had reported that 10 Democratic lawmakers had sent a letter to the company inquiring about its U.S. government contracts compliance, what they're actually doing, what is their involvement with work. And we see this especially from AOC, Elizabeth Warren, that are signing these papers to request more information, talking about to preserve emails and records. So Palantir, they have responded. And what we do know is that Palantir has been doing a decent job by defending itself. And in an exhaustive response right here, Palantir has denied that it is actively collecting data or otherwise providing infrastructure for some type of master list of personal information, saying they don't, collect data on their own. They utilize different pieces of data. So Palantir doesn't even collect data on its own. And we see that right here, doesn't collect their own basically direct or provide data mining. Instead, it operates basically as a data processor, information that's already readily available. That is how Palantir works. So in terms of that, you're going to see, I think, more headwinds trying to beat down Palantir. Palantir is just growing at a very rapid pace, still remaining bullish on the stock. What's the future hold for Palantir being held by these major funds right here? Palantir still has room to grow in terms of this bullish scenario. Yes, its valuation is crazy, but even what we've seen here from Amit right here, big investment firm just put out their 2030 tech market cap projections, and they have Palantir in the list, and they say here at 528 billion at 2030. So showing here Palantir, a lot of these big firms are still bullish on it. Could we see a pullback? Most definitely, especially in the uncertain times that we're sitting at right now, but doing very well nonetheless. Looking at stock futures right now, they are a little change ahead of the Federal Reserve's rate decision. It's basically being priced in at 100% basically chance or probability, you could say 99.9% probability, that those rates are going to stay steady. What we are seeing and why we're seeing a little bit of stock futures trading flat, basically, yes, bracing for, the Federal Reserve's rate policy decision, but also kind of this mounting conflict between Israel and Iran is just kind of lingering around. So what's going to be happening tomorrow? Who knows? It seems like every day is just a whole crazy day of headlines that is just, we don't even know how to process it. Oil futures also ended up here by more than 4%, kind of keeping some stocks on the pressure. Tensions in these Middle East right here from the True Social platform from Trump saying that, our patience is wearing thin, calling for an unconditional surrender. Current and former administrations here weighing on options on Iran, including whether to, launch some type of a strike. You also have from remarks right here on X saying U.S. negotiators believe that Iran may be willing to return to negotiations and agree to a deal that fully ends its nuclear program. So the administration does not want Iran to have, possession of these nuclear weapons. What you do see here, this came out just a few minutes ago as we speak. I think we're going to see things bouncing all back and forth until we see some official statements, some official things that will kind of instore some more confidence, I think, in the citizens across the board, hopefully to bring more peace and to ease these tensions. This is not just about, my own opinion, trying to make money in terms of a bullish market. No, I think this is about the world peace and hoping that we don't get into any type of crazy warfare. War is not good. So hoping that they do reach some type of an agreement, I think could be beneficial for Israel, Iran, and of course the U.S., but more importantly for Israel and Iran, the countries that are actually getting hit with some pretty strong weapons and strikes. So even before the events, with the Middle East, hoping things will start to show more of a brighter side. One big thing that we have been talking about, other stocks that we've been keeping on the radar, is Robinhood. And Robinhood has had a lot of momentum behind it recently. We see a little bit of a pullback here, down about 2%. Robinhood sitting here at about $75. We see a decent amount of consolidation here in the mid-70s. Good support, and this is even at a high level. Buying the dip is occurring a ton on Robinhood every time we're seeing these pullbacks here to the low 70s, and we exactly saw that today. Pulled back on the lower of this candle here to about $72 and popped up back to 75. We see Robinhood currently trading at 74.21, and one of the bullish indicators that we saw from Robinhood is that the director actually bought $2 million worth of shares at a stock price of $74 per share. So the fact that we have the Robinhood director buying $2 million worth of shares at these basically what you could call not all-time highs, but near all-time highs, that's what Robinhood has been doing, very well. That's a very big bullish indicator. You also have their crypto event that's going to be happening at the end of the month. A lot of people are predicting the possibility of tokenization of assets onto the blockchain. What we're seeing here from other reports is that Coinbase is kind of seeking the green light for these tokenized stocks to compete with Robinhood and Charles Schwab, and that Coinbase right here is pushing for a regulatory clarity to bring tokenized equities to the U.S. customers. With these tokenized equities, this means, trading different types of securities 24 hours. People can trade them from across the world. They don't have to be in the U.S. to have access. And the settlements are nearly instant. You don't have to wait for a delay in settlements. So the fact that I know Robinhood has been talking about this a lot. You see Coinbase now that's kind of gearing up for it. Charles Schwab. The big question is, when are we going to see the rollout? In my opinion, I don't think it's a matter of if. I think it's a matter of when. So Robinhood has hopefully been staying on the game. We'll see what the announcement will be from that actual crypto event here in the near future. But nonetheless, looking pretty good at these levels, considering we don't break out into some crazy conflict. With the S&P 500 index right under 6,000, it's been consolidating right around the 6,000 level, specifically at 5,982 right now. So at 58.92, if we see you buy the dip red to green tomorrow, pushing back in there, with the interest rates and we see hopefully some easing of tension, that's where we're going to continue to possibly see bullishness in this market. If we see escalation in terms of the geopolitical conflicts, that is where we could see possibly going back down to about 5,900 for the S&P and 500 index. It's my opinion. Peace out, take care, and I'll catch you guys later.